This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
Is there a God? Is there a higher power? It's the oldest question in the world, more ancient than written language, more enduring than empires, more deeply felt than most dare to admit. It's asked in quiet moments beneath the stars, in the chaos of suffering, and in the wonder of birth and beauty. Whether whispered by the faithful or challenged by the skeptic, it echoes in every heart. And today, we will explore it, not with dogma, not with assumptions, but with honesty, humility, history, and reason. Because if there is an answer, even a path toward one, it must speak to both the believer and the non-believer. It must speak not only to what we feel, but to what we know. Let's begin with the reality we all share. Existence itself. Look around you. Everything you see, from trees to cities, oceans to galaxies, came from something. But where did that something come from? The Big Bang Theory tells us that the universe began from a single, incomprehensibly dense point and expanded into everything we now know. But what caused that to happen? What came before time and space? Some scientists say, we may never know. Others propose a multiverse, or quantum fluctuations from nothing. But then comes the deeper question, why is there something instead of nothing? And this is where the idea of a higher power often enters. Not necessarily a man in the clouds, not necessarily a god of religion, but a force, a source, a consciousness behind reality itself, something uncaused, something eternal, something that doesn't just exist but gives existence to everything else. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't prove God, but it points to a mystery bigger than any one answer. Let's look at the human experience. Throughout every era, every culture, people have believed in something greater. From ancient shamans to Greek philosophers, Hindu sages to Christian mystics, from Islamic scholars to indigenous storytellers, there has always been a sense that life is more than matter, that behind the scenes is something unseen. Not everyone calls it God. Some call it spirit, source, the universe, the divine. But the longing this sense says is universal. Is that because we're afraid? Because we want comfort? Maybe. But what if that longing exists for a reason? Hunger points to food. Thirst points to water. Could the longing for God point to something real? Some would say no. That we created God in our image. That belief is wishful thinking. And that's worth considering. Humans do look for patterns, for stories, for meaning. We have powerful imaginations. But belief in a higher power is not always comforting. For many, it brings responsibility, a call to morality, a call to humility. And many who believe have doubted, struggled, walked away, then returned. And yet others, rational, scientific thinkers, found faith because of what they studied. Albert Einstein, though not religious in the traditional sense, spoke often of a cosmic religious feeling. He marveled at the order and elegance of the universe. He said, the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. Why should math describe the universe so perfectly? Why should there be laws of physics that work everywhere, every time? That order, to many, points not to randomness, but to intention. Still, the skeptic remains, and rightfully so, because if there is a God, why is there so much suffering, so much injustice? Why do bad things happen to good people? It's a powerful argument, one that has tested the faith of many, but even here we find layers. If there is no higher power, then suffering is just a fact of nature. It's random, meaningless. But if there is a higher power, then maybe suffering is part of something we don't yet understand. Maybe free will requires risk. Maybe growth requires challenge. Maybe the story isn't finished. Believers say suffering doesn't disprove God, it reveals the depth of life's questions. It makes us reach, reflect, and act. It awakens compassion. It brings people together. It forces us to search for deeper meaning. And so, we arrive at the human heart. Beyond logic, beyond science, is the realm of experience. Many people believe not because of books or arguments, but because of something they felt, a moment of awe, a moment of silence, a moment of love so deep it defies explanation. Have you ever looked at a newborn child and felt a sacred stillness? Have you ever watched a sunset and felt you were part of something eternal? Have you ever been saved by kindness you didn't deserve and felt grace? These moments don't prove God, but they stir something in us, a sense that life is more than data, that something holy lives in the ordinary. Now let's pause. If you're a believer, you may be nodding. You may be thinking, yes, I've felt that. I've seen that. I know that something greater is there. If you're a non-believer, you may be thoughtful, maybe skeptical. You may be saying, there are other explanations. Emotions aren't evidence. And you're right to think critically. So where does that leave us? It leaves us here, in a place of honest wonder, in a space where both belief and unbelief require humility. Because here's the truth. No one knows for sure. Not the most devout believer, not the most confident atheist, not the wisest scholar, or the most enlightened guru. We are all standing on the edge of the infinite, trying to make sense of something vast and mysterious. And whether you call that mystery God, or the universe, or simply life, it remains what it has always been beyond full understanding. But maybe, just maybe, that's the point. Maybe the meaning isn't found in proving God or disproving God. Maybe it's found in how we live. Maybe it's found in the questions we ask, in how we treat each other, in how we face the unknown. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once said that even if we cannot prove God, it is wiser to live as if God exists. Because if we live with love, compassion, forgiveness, and reverence, what have we lost? And maybe we've gained everything. Maybe the real power of the question is not in the answer, but in the transformation it brings. When we live as if life is sacred, we treat it differently. We slow down. We listen. We care. We serve. We grow. So is there a God? Maybe the answer is not yes or no. Maybe the answer is in how we choose to live while we search. And in that search, there is something holy. So to the believer, walk with humility, not superiority. Your faith is your strength, not your weapon. Listen to others. Learn from others. Love those who see differently. And to the non-believer, walk with openness, not cynicism. Your skepticism is your strength, not your wall. Be curious. Be kind. Respect the mystery. Because in the end, we are all seekers. We are all dust and breath, stars and spirit, science and soul. And the truth, whatever it is, welcomes all who seek it with honest hearts. So may you live with wonder. May you live with courage. May you live with compassion. And in doing so, may you come closer, whatever your belief, to the answer that matters most. Not whether there is a God, but whether you are living a life worthy of the divine. And if you are, then maybe, just maybe, you've already touched it.